Yeah. Organic yogurt all up in my throat. I'll be sucking it down. That's gross. I'm sorry. Pull up with the style. I'm at the old folks' home going wild. About to finger Gertrude. Had to hit my nails with the file. Making young money, I'm a breadophile. I like young girls, I'm a pedophile. Alright. That was a beat someone sent me. Shout out to Moody17. That was a good beat. Okay, let me focus. Goodness gracious, what's wrong with me, man? Question. Someone sent in a question. People want to sip from the fountain of truth. Get in line. You want the twink to give you answers? Well, answers ain't cheap, baby. So let me pull this up. I got a personal anecdote about getting... Wow, you said a naughty word, man. Don't call them that. That's rude, dog. About getting women. Basically, I have zero hoes, and last year I was introduced to frat life by my friend and got hooked on the partying because I was making out with girls since they were easy to get. And I made out with maybe two dozen girls, but still remain a virgin because I naturally don't give off a confident vibe, and as a result, I couldn't talk to women online when I got their socials, and I don't know what to do to improve it. I never had an F-boy phase, so I'm new to approaching women despite me being an adult. So, like, you're just running around kissing bitches? Is that what I'm getting from this? Is that what I'm gleaning? You're just at the function running around kissing hoes? Yeah, man, that's kind of wild. Honestly, if I had the opportunity right now to just kiss a random girl, even if she was attractive, I'd be like, I think I would say no. It's kind of gross. If it's only that, like, it's like, that's like an affectionate thing. You know, animals in the wild, I don't know if they kiss, but they mostly just go at it. Kissing is like a passion. It's like a love thing. You're just running around kissing hoes. I don't know. There's something funny about that to me. Yeah, that's gross. Over here, kissing these drunk girls, you feel they're like bacteria in your mouth. I know it's gross. I know it's gross. I'm mentioning that, but I mean that's just the truth of what's going on. You're making a fool of yourself. And the way you frame this question, it's almost like you're trying to ask me, you know, how do I bridge that gap from kissing them to, you know, doing the full thing? And that's not what you're gonna get. Number one, I'm not, you know, I couldn't tell you. I'm no Riz master. I'm not an authority when it comes to bitches or manipulating them into, you know, jumping on your worm. That ain't me, man. I'm no pussy prophet. I'm just one of the greatest thinkers of this generation, you know. That's so cap. I'm just a guy with a fucking microphone. But here's the deal. Hookup culture, here's what is happening. You're wasting your time. It's a bad idea, dog. You're just going down this hookup culture, just making your life an endless conquest for poon. That'll get you nowhere. That leads nowhere good, my friend. This whole thing, it's one thing if you're an attractive guy and you can easily, you know, sleep with relatively low effort expenditure. You could sleep with attractive women and girls like you. You're a natural ladies' man. That's one thing. Even then, still not good. You get nothing out of it. Only just short-term vacuous pleasure that leads to nowhere. And, you know, morally it's questionable because you're like, you know, it's bad for these women to be casually hooking up. It's bad for men too, but it has like a long-lasting impact on women. And you could make the argument like, this is a cope I had for a while when I was trying to do this stuff. It was like, everything's degenerate anyway. May as well just play a part in it. Like, I'm not going to be able to find some traditional good girl. I may as well just, have fun. And what you find is that, well, what I found is that I'm not this super attractive guy. I don't really care what any of these black pillars say, but like the gonial angle, your maxilla, what about the eyelid exposure? Look, man, I could just tell from going around in my life that I'm just, I'm just a normal guy. These girls aren't fawning over me. There's nothing crazy like that. And I know from like just a few experiences I had, if a girl likes you, it is pretty obvious. Unless you just have zero concept of social cues. If a girl likes you, she will make it apparent. So, a lot of guys don't know that because it just never happens now. But there's that. So I would know if I was an attractive guy. That very rarely happens, and it's not with attractive girls. Right? So what I found is just, it's high effort expenditure, massive waste of time, possibly massive waste of money, just to get with some mid girls that are practically, property of the city at this point. They're practically just like, it's not like you're getting into some VIP club. These are streetwalkers. These are, they belong to the universe. It's like walking past a public park and jumping on the seesaw. It's not like getting into a VIP club or doing anything special. It's like just finding a fleshlight on the ground and fucking doing that. That's all it is. To be real with you, this they-them cooter is scandalous. And it hits differently and not in a good way. So you're doing all this just for some they-them, just for some she-they, like, ungroomed, unhygienic cooter. Get your life together, dog. This is why it's just a massive time and energy suck. This is what I found. You lose all motivation when you do this stuff. It's like you have no other time for anything else. At least if you're not a super attractive guy that's like, it's super easy and you can get it out of the way. I don't know. I wouldn't know about that. Maybe, but based off your situation, I don't think you're like some super attractive, charismatic young man. You're probably just a normal looking guy, right? So, yeah, I would say don't try to bridge that. Just cut it out. Cut it out. When we, as a society, it's just a bad thing when you devalue sex. Like this whole question, this whole situation is just based off a brand new, it's happened in previous societies when we've reached decadence, but it's just this idea that you're just trying to run around and hook up like it's no big deal. Casual sex is like an oxymoron. It's a bad thing. You're running around kissing these drunk girls in the mouth. It's nasty. Their mouths are gross, dude. Like, you need to think about this from like a germ standpoint. That shit's grody. Sex is a shameful act, clearly only meant for the production of children. I guess I don't know if I'm, you know what, it's true. That's what I believe. You know what, that is what I believe. It's nasty. You don't get any, like, dude, and this culture that we have today, this is why we can't have great men, because they're wasting their time doing this. You think any great men spent their young vital years when their brains when their brains almost reach peak development? These are vital years, 18, 19, 20, early 20s. You think any great guys spent this time just on a ceaseless quest for she-they? For she-they, clunge? I've like used all the different words for female genitalia on all my channels. I'm running out of synonyms. Comment them in below, just all the different types, so I can expand my vocabulary. Yeah, this is why we can't. This is why men are fault. This is, you're not doing shit. There, great men who invented great things, who went on to do, who went on to success, to great accomplishments. They either just didn't date at this age or at all, or they just had, like one girl who was like their life partner, who, it wasn't like these modern relationships where these guys get into this monogamous relationship and their testosterone falls off a cliff and they're just getting way too comfortable eating chips. Here's my girlfriend, my wife, my girlfriend, meh, 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 meh. Like she's their like she's his mommy and shit. It wasn't like that. These healthy relationships where, when you get into them as a man, you become more responsible, you become more manly, more driven. It was that kind of thing. Doing this is a total. So I mean, the whole question. I'm just rejecting the whole question. Don't find something else to do. I mean, there is some. I mean, I even find myself falling back into this, of course, because I'm still a teenager, and I think I'm still growing. I'm still like have like hormones raging and shit. I got acne all over my back because I was always a late bloomer. I think I'm still going through puberty type of thing, and I do see that as a rationalization my brain makes. Like, all these girls are degenerate anyway. Like, I may as well just participate. Like, whatever. But there are still good ones out there, and it's just something your brain uses to distract you, because that's what's there. There's resistance always intrinsic for anything that is productive, that will further your development, or that's working towards a goal that you should achieve. There's always resistance, and there's always going to be distractions that will manifest. And this is one of the biggest ones that you have to face as a young man. I find myself falling into it because, a lot of these girls are degenerate. And it's like you're in a terrible demographic situation. Finding a good, healthy relationship, like even guys that are looking for relationships, they just fall apart so easily. It's like, it's easy to get hopeless, and then you just want to fall into this hedonism. But yeah, I would advise you don't. At least if you want to accomplish things, if you're ambitious or conscientious, or you want to do shit, because you're not getting anything out of this. And you're clearly not this guy who it's like you could really have a whole lot of success in the field, because you're just running around making out with bitches. Just making out. Like, that's... I mean, come on, bro. Come on, man. Be real with me, Holmes. You tripping, huh? So... And, dude, so many people were coping, so many old dudes coping about this, like... Here's why. When you look at all this information, because what you might glean from this is that you should just focus on yourself until, I don't know, you're maybe 35, until you reach your prime or whatever, and then you'll get into a relationship. Here's why that doesn't work. There were so many people coping in the last video. I'll just explain this one concept again, the most what I think is the most undeniable point. People aren't having kids now. So when I'm in my supposed prime, there will be no young women in the demographic 18 to 22. When I say no, that's an exaggeration. There will be some. But if you think your demographic situation is bad now, as a young man, a late teens, early 20s, whatever, where we outnumber women 2-1, wait until you're 35, and 35-year-old men will outnumber 18 to 22-year-old women by like 6-1, because no one's having kids now. The girls who will be 18 to 24 when I'm supposedly in my prime are like 3 years old now. It's weird to think about, but they're like 3 years old now, and there's barely any 3-year-olds. I mean, my sister works as a preschool teacher, and she was talking about, I forgot it was, but there's like not enough kids to fill up certain classes or whatever, and it's kind of wild. Okay, dude, there are no young women. There's not going to be any young women. So you're so coping. Like, you just have this illusory pool of young women that's in your head when you reach 35. They're not going to be there because no one's having kids. It's over. So you have two options. You either give up, just stop, just call it, just throw in the towel, which a lot of men are doing. What I forgot to mention about that Pew Research study that showed that double as many men are single as women is that in the gap between the 2021 data and the 2023 data, what contributed to like 10% of the growth was men just quitting. The men number was still not as high as the women number when it came to people who just aren't interested in dating, because a lot of women are just not interested. That's a big problem. But men are just giving up now. Like that's what added like a lot of the 10% increase from 51 to 63%. So yeah, that's going on. So there's one path. You just give up, go your own way, whatever. Although you're actually sent your own way. Or you find a good girl and marry young. Now, while you're young. Those are your two options. You cannot wait for 35 because there will be this pool of women that you're imagining, of young women that you're imagining when you're 35, 38, they're not going to exist unless you go to sub-Saharan Africa. That's the only country that has a healthy birth rate. All the other countries are inverted. So there aren't going to be... It's just like, that's undeniable. It's statistic fact. It's demographic reality. Think, Mark, think. You're being retarded. Stop. You're being a fool. I do not take kindly to neo-Marxists at the bottom of the dominance hierarchy. Who are you? Sorry. I'm zooted off a melatonin gummy right now. I feel like my energy's different. I'm about to close this off and go to sleep right away. So yeah, those are the options. Marry a girl young. While you're both young, you can grow old together, whatever. Or just quit. Because you can't wait till you're older. That's that. When it comes to finding good girls, young good girls, you have to curate your environment. So going to parties is not it. What I've seen work is like, you go to college, but you get in with like the church kids. So you go to a church in a college town, and then there will be like good young women who aren't promiscuous. So that's like one of the only environments I could think. Or you like volunteer at an animal shelter or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, because if you go to church outside of a college town, if you just go to a random church, it's just going to be a bunch of old people and maybe one girl who's like 23, but you could clearly tell she's familiar with wiener, let's say, and now she's trying to come back to the Lord. And look, you know what? The Lord will accept you back. He will redeem you of your sins. The Lord will accept you, but I won't. Because it would be foolish of me, to be honest. So, yep. In conclusion, this guy... Oh, I left the message up the whole time. Whoopsie daisy. Just covered up like half the screen. In conclusion, this guy, man, stop chasing these hoes, dog. You're not that guy. You're clearly not that guy, pal. So you may as well stop wasting your time. Get on your grind, man. Start grinding. As a wise man once said, you never go broke chasing riches, but you might go broke chasing every little stank asshole with a tongue piercing. Yes, Lord.